Oceanogod, Galiele Jigedo Kohig Nugsko Chaneli ne Jalagia de lo Quaste. So today, welcome. This is the 48th Cherokee lesson. This is the last Cherokee lesson for Cherokee 3. You made it. You survived. So in the last lesson, we took a lot of time just to talk about how to study on your own, if you're, how to find some resources, where to find resources, those kinds of things. Because I'm hoping that if you're taking this class or you're watching this class, you're watching it because you want to learn to actually speak Cherokee and to use the language in as much as you're able. So that's what we're going to use this final class for today. I've got it a little bit out of order, so we're going to skip through part of it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to finish up our Tojuwa Sequanid story. We're going to read through that one more time, and then we're going to, I'm going to give you some strategies on how to use Cherokee yourself and how to teach others, at least what I have found has been beneficial for me in teaching my daughter. And we'll talk about what was successful, what was not successful, what I would do differently if I could. And so hopefully maybe some of these things will help you not be frustrated if you're trying to teach somebody else, or you're trying to make this a family thing, that all of you in the family are going to do, which I strongly encourage. It's hard to learn a language or to acquire a language if you're the only one within your sphere of influence that uses it. Right? Because in and of itself, language is intended for communication. And so, it doesn't do a lot of good if you're just communicating with yourself, right? So, anyway, come. Okay? So, I'm going to skip through this part, and we're going to go right here. And we're going to finish this up, and then I'm going to come back to this other part. So, he yolekis he askaya ayetlichikadog. Ni yole ganyik Redbird Smith do don't eh. Tojuwa Sequanid do don't eh jalagi gante. Sita o jalila he liga he ina julske laskaya. Sabu yagayel chanel skoet skuhig skohi u dane Tojuwa Sequanid. Kohichik guye goni sonela du sine o jalihele go udeti yiska. Tlaskin doyogan toto udeti yiska. Tojuwa Sequanid udeti yiska yinustan anikadu wagi aniyowiya gatiyo anego. Gadoke Tojuwa Sequanid uskejik. Tojuwa udod Pig Smith do doe. Sequanid jalagi ganti do doe. Only Smith aniyoneg do noe. Se gotlan anski jage se yusti. Tojuwa uji Lizzie Hildebrand do doe. Ijul a jalagi ale a de jage se. Jalagi uweti di stoske dalan wistane ha Lizzie udod. Ijula Jukayelege uwe titalagi nanda neha duno hi hune. Didana whiskey ge se udod. Nudena sto juwa ani gayelege dini na whiskey. unino se le siquanid tojua di datinehi nidagastanisa tlaskin hiehesti nigastana siquanid unasa agusa sam tojua udehodi noji ayawe yagese agusa sam Nuls tanan le uweti unino hetlan ani jalaki ani gusa ale ani noji dak tahe agusa sam. Osta adelo kwaski gehe tojuwa. Udanto ale ton gamoniski gehe. Du yukta no le jiyukta gehe. Sawu yagayel chanelsko it's gusonelsko tojuwa anikaduwa gi ajista nigesta skadugi didatini don higehe. Na hi yu chake sanjalagi aneha ahya tohi hangehe. Une gujet nanda neha. Jalagi ayetli udigale yo zangesa. Dan kliha unlena ha una dal una jundalena una dalska. Squeeze tani yone gane he. Tla unelagi elisa yigese. Ani yone dudo tlans uduli he ahya tasti anitalagi une aneha. Ani yone das commission uno tlane. Duni sesti aneha anitalagi. Das commission unduli he ayetli unity sti ka don anitalagi. Ka don uni he negata anitalagi tla ansi yawi ha yigese. Ani yone unduli he duni nehti ka don nigata anitalagi aneha. Nole duni skoldoti ani yoneg una dehti ka don. Tla yunduli ske anitalagi yinul stoti. Nigalstanuska ani gitu wagi didatinehi aneliske du yukta galohisti unkeuska. Unetlanahi dunkeusa aneliske anikadu wagi. Anigayel ale nuniwe sela tojuwa. Oh. Anigayel hi nuniwe sela tojuwa jido hanle jido haleda jalagi iyunatante jigalo so hanski. Utadanesqua didadlos di galagwo di unesti. Bob Ross do na di dad los di Tlaskin du jelly you get say. Bob Ross do John Ross get say. John Ross talagi uga wiu he get say. Tojuwa Dakini Waters Ale Wilson Gertie un du dale di dad los di we do ni nasty. Dakini Waters di datini dohi a dis done gas just kadugi gas Ale Wilson Gertie di datini dohi nu you his kadugi gas Kohik gesa di dad los di anis kwan go tana anis kwan go tane uga wiu hi. Se no John Ross yo hu se le uwej eliske di dad los di dun zeli Ross di dad tin na ai gese. Klan negata ni jalaki. He ani jo ani ska John Smith wuni nurse di dad los di we do gisti. Di dad los di dun doli sawo dun tol sawo elis kebab. Di dad los di dun tol sawo elis kebab. There we go, that makes more sense. No le John Smith di dad los di we do ne se. Sida do ni na on di dad los di ani kadu wagi. Sawu iagayel chanel sko it's ku gal kwa sko sawu. Tojuwa ale Lucy Fields unanela de. Skonhi dunda tina Tanel ani chuj ale tal ani ge huge. John, Ella, Sam, Thomas, Susie, George, Mose, Richard, Kaya, Ale, Stokes, Dun, Don, Yo, Nega, Ganti, Juwej, Jiduni, Kahen, Tojuwa, Ale, Lucy. Talagi Ganti no, Unanu, Goji, Gwedi, Yoni, Agod, Jagoni, Jaji, Gunedon, Sikwanid, Amayili, Ale, Gaged, Dundo. Tojuwa, Duge yu se nagata yunwi, Tlaskin, Anitalakiwu. Okay, so this one we talked about. There's another way to say it. You could say here. Let's Tojuwa duge yu say nagata yunwi loved all people. Kla you duge you you duge you say anitalakiwu. Okay, you could also say that. Okay, so you could just say Tojuwa duge yu say nagata yunwi loved all people. Tla ye duge yu say didn't love, or you could say Tla Yiduge yu sewo anitalaki. He didn't only love the Cherokees. Okay, you could put it that way as well. So that's another way that you could do this sentence. I think either way, speakers are going to understand you. Anitalaki dul jadone junadelo quasti ale stai junilo stanedi. Okay, so he print dul jadone. He preached al chatohiski. Okay, so we've learned that word before, al chatohiski, a preacher. All right, dul jadone. He preached. Okay. Ani chalaki dul jadone. Junadelo quasti ale stai junilo staned. Okay. Juscalesti. Okay. Now this one's interesting, and we'll talk about it. Juscalesti ale adadayujehi Kla du yukta yegese udane tojuwa. Okay, and this brings us to a good conversation about speakers. If you have speakers that you can ask questions to, don't expect them to have every single answer. You know, for example, these two words right here, juskaleste ale adadayujehi. I asked 3 speakers, and none of them were familiar with these 2 words. However, I found these 2 words in the online dictionary. And these 2 words, the first one is juskaleste, is greed. Okay, ale adadayujehi. That's envy. Okay. And so these 2 words, as I got to thinking about it, I was like, well, this is not something, greed and envy are not common conversations for people to have just, you know, at home, right? And so I was like, I definitely understand why speakers wouldn't necessarily be familiar with these words, or if they are, they're like, well, it kind of rings a bell, but, you know, it sounds like something bad, whatever it is, right? So, just to let you know, don't expect speakers to know every single word, but we do have, luckily in this day and age, we do have other options available to us, but I encourage you not to be like too pushy and like, well, why don't you know this word? You're supposed to be a speaker or whatever. But that's not how it works, right? So, it's just like we as speakers of English, we don't know every single English word that, like Brobdingnagian, I barely know what that word is, and that's just because I saw it on Big Bang Theory, right? So we don't know all the words, and they don't either. It just depends on what their life experiences were and the kinds of things that they talked about at home, because most of them use Cherokee at home, right? So anyway, juskalesti, greed, ale, and adadayujehi, envy, tla, not, duyukta, the right way, or not honest, yigese, was, udane tojuwa, said, Tojuwa. So Tojuwa said that greed and envy were not the true path, right? The right way of being. So this is one of the things that he emphasized to us as Cherokee people. Juskaled, ale, adadayujehi, kla, Du yukta yagese udane tojuwa. Okay, so they're not part of the right way of being. Okay? Du de hyone Elohi di daniktia chagese aniyawiya. Okay? So hopefully you can understand. I'll read it through one more time and see how many of these words you can understand or kind of get an idea of what they're about. Du de hyone Elohi daniktia chagese aniyawiya. Okay? Du de hyone, he taught them. He taught them. Du de hyone. Elohi, the world or the earth. Danik tia, they cared for it. They care for it. They take care of it. Chagese was aniyawiya, Indian people. Okay? Or fully human people. Okay? So, fully human people were the caretakers of the earth. He taught. Okay? So, I know that's one of the things that we were always taught is Elo Aktiya. Is one of the roles of the native person is to care for the earth and all the things in it. We were that's often emphasized, and even, I grew up fishing and hunting and those kinds of things, but my grandfather always told me, he said, you don't ever take a life without cause. That's a part of if you're going to take a life, then you have to use it, because they're sacrificing themselves in order to sustain you, in order to keep you alive. Because they would tell us that these are our older siblings, our big brothers and sisters, the animals and the plants on the world, because God made them first. So because of that, they are like our older brothers and sisters. And like any good older brother and sister is, they will sacrifice to provide for their younger siblings. But we need to be aware of that and always be thankful of that, So that's how I was taught. So, du de hyone Elohi danik tia chagese aniyawiya. Native Americans were the caretakers of the earth. He taught. Okay? Yudali ha udane Elohi yidik tia unsku jijik tia elon. Okay? There's probably a lot of words in there that sound familiar to you. Let's see. Yudali ha. That's sometimes. It can also mean often. So from time to time. Udane, he said. Elohi, the world or the earth. Yidik tia, if we care for it, if we care for the earth. Sku, also. Jijik tia. It cares for us, Elohi, the earth. So if we care for the earth will care for us. Yudali ha udane Elohi yidik tia. Sku jijik tia elon. Okay, so there's that sentence there, okay? Elohi uwo sene unetlanahi. Elohi uwo sene unetlana. Okay, 3 words. How many of those words do you understand? Okay, do you understand the word Elohi? Elohi, the world or the earth. Okay, do you understand the word unetlanahi? That's the word for the creator or God, or he provides, the provider. A lot of times we translate that as the creator, but it's really not. There's a different word that sometimes we hear, and it literally means the creator. But this really means provider. But that's our common word for God. Unetlana. Unetlanahi. Okay, and then what about this uwosane? Uwosane. Okay, he made it. Okay, Elohi uwosane unetlana. So that means God created the earth. He made the earth, right? Okay. Sku Yahweh duwosane unetlana. Okay. So hopefully you recognize all of those words. So what do you think? I'll give you just a few seconds. What do you think this means? Okay, let's go back one sentence. Elohi uwosane unetlana. Sku Yahweh duwosane unetlana. So what do you think that sentence means? Okay. Sku, also Yahweh, humans, people. Duwosane. Okay, that's the plural object form of he made. He made them. Okay, Elo, that's one world, right? He made the world. People, there are lots of people, right? Duwosane, he made them. He made people. Unetlanahi. Okay, God. Sku duwosane unetlanahi. Also, humans were created by God. Skina yusti. Skina yusti. Nikata. Chiduwosane unetlanahi. Du yukta. Duni stawada. Duni stawada say. Duni stawada say. Okay. So this is an interesting one. You might recognize some of the words in there. Okay. Skina used. That means therefore. Nikada. All. Chiduwosane. Okay, so if you take that G off there, duwosane, we had it in the previous, right? Duwosane, he created them. Okay, chiduwosane, all that he created. Okay, so ashkenai used, therefore nigata chiduwosane, all that he created, unetlanahi, God created, duyukta, the right way, the truth. Dunistawadase. They should follow it. They follow it. Okay? So, no, that's not the right English at all. I don't know why I capitalized that, but okay. Skinai used Nigata Chiduwosane Unetlana Duyukta Dunistawata say. Okay. I'm not entirely sure, but I think you could that you could change this word dunistawada say a little bit to even be better, but I can't quite put it together in my head right now. But anyway, So, Dunis Tawadus, or something like that, might be better. So, So that is the end of our text for Tojuwa Sikwanid. So we finally got there in the end. We finally got to why he's such an important man today, and it was because of the things that, not only the things that he taught others, but the way he lived his life. Because he followed all these things that he talked about. He truly lived those things. And he talked about how everyone should be included. He truly believed in our prophecies. And in those prophecies, he was like, well, in order for us to be strong, in order for our fires to be strong, we should include everyone. Even the mixed bloods, because even at that time, there was, kind of were the mixed blood Cherokees, and there were what we consider the full blood Cherokees, which were the people who followed more traditional ways. And for him, he always said, we should reach out to even, the mixed Cherokees, and include them as well, because they will strengthen the fire, So he was kind of radical in the way he thought and the way he lived, in that he preached about that we should educate ourselves, we should work hard, we should include everyone, we should always reach our hand out to our neighbor, And we still talk about all those things today at Gatillo. We still try to follow all those things today at Gatillo. So that's why still today we celebrate his life. So, as I said before, we're going to go back and we're going to talk about, how to make a language learning environment for yourself and whoever you're speaking Cherokee with. So whether it be a child, a grandchild, niece, nephew, friend, spouse, cousin, it doesn't matter. However, and I'll give you my own experiences. So my daughter, she understands a lot of Cherokee, but it's been very, very frustrating because she doesn't use Cherokee a whole lot. She understands quite a bit, but she'll always talk to me in English, and it was very, very frustrating to me, and I couldn't understand why that was. And I realize now that one of the reasons why she does not, part of it has to do with brain development, and it has to do with children in general. Children are just now starting to navigate their first language, and so they're going to take the path of least resistance. In some ways, children are extremely practical. They're like, why should I make my brain work hard to come up with this word when I already know the same way to convey that information in my primary language? They're like, it makes no sense to me, because that's just how kids think. That's just kind of how they are. So part of it is that, and part of it is that I did not model ways for her to respond. I would give her lots of commands, hiyegi, right? Deja lasu tlagon, or talasu tlagon, tikanegon, hawk squads, gasoline hanawoga, all of those kinds of things. I would tell her to do all those things. So she understood those, but she didn't really understand how to make those things herself. And really, it's only been within the last few months that she's developed an interest in wanting to use the language more. And so what I should have done, and what I encourage you to do, I've got some common things that I use with her a lot. And most of you probably already know these. He dong is you're at, or you're located somewhere, right? Had la he dong, where are you, right? Had la he dong, right? Then this one says, had the water, take a bath. Had the water. We could also mean go swimming, I suppose. Had the water, take a bath. Okay, tala su tla gong, put your shoes on. Jayosis, are you hungry? Jajusitis, do you need to use the restroom? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Jajusitis. Jadulis, do you want? Tikanega, tie it or fasten it up, right? Tikanega. Okay, all of these are really, really good, and you should use these. However, if you can start injecting the ayah form, the me form, okay? So, as an example, we'll go through these, the I form of each of these. So, he dong, you are at. Ge dong, I am at. Okay? Ha da water, take a bath. Got the water. Okay, I'm taking a bath. Got the water. Tala su tla gong. Okay. Degala su tla ska. Degala su tla ska. I'm putting my shoes on. Tala su tla gong. Put your shoes on. Degala su tla gong. Or degala su tla ska. I'm putting my shoes on. Okay. Jayosis, are you hungry? Agiyose, I'm hungry. Okay. Jajusitis, do you need to use the restroom? Awajusid, I need to use the restroom. Okay. Jadulis, do you want? Awaduli, I want. Okay. Tikanega, fasten it up. And we'll talk about that word specifically here in a minute. But deji kanehi, I'm doing it, okay? And so what I recommend, or what I encourage you to try, let's just do jayosis, okay? Are you hungry? I ask her that, 4 or 5 times a day, because she never eats. Jayosis, are you hungry? And she'll be like, no, okay. Really, a better way to do that, I should say, agiyosi nihi na jayosis. Say, I'm hungry. How about you? Are you hungry? And so what that does is that gives her the me form. That gives her the vocabulary that she would need to use it herself. And then over time, if I do that, agiyose nihin na. What about you? Chayosis, are you hungry? Then hopefully, I do that over enough period of time, then she will be able to say, etod agiyose, Dad, I'm hungry, right? I can't expect her to provide language that I've never really given to her. Because I used to try, because I started to kind of get worried about it. I was like, well, she's not using her language at all, and how do I do that? So I would be like, okay, and so I'd say, jayosis, and she'd be like, yeah. And I'd say, okay. I said, well, say agiyosi, and she's like, Dad, But I realize now that, kind of making her, and then I might wait her out until she actually said it, but it's not going to stick in her brain that way because it's not modeled enough for her. Because what we have to do, how the brain works is, it's kind of monkey see, monkey do, right? So we have to model it for her or for them first and do it enough times that they're like, oh, okay, I can just use that word, without thinking about it, And so that's how I would approach that if I had it to do over again. And that's how I'm doing it now, rather than just talking to her like I would somebody who already speaks Cherokee. I need to take a little more thought. And I was making it comprehensible. I was making it understandable to her, but I didn't realize that if my end product is for her to create Cherokee on her own, I need to provide her some modeling for that, right? So, instead of just saying Jayosis like I would with, my friends or, people that I use Cherokee with on a regular basis, I just should take a little bit of extra time and say, Agi Yosi, Nihi na Jayosis. Okay? Or I could say, let's use Jaduli, right? Jaduli, you want. Okay, this is a really common word. Okay, and she understands it. A lot of times we'll stop at a convenience store. We're on the road a lot, so I'll stop at a convenience store and I'll say, Jade tostis Jaduli? Do you want something to drink? And she'll say, yeah, get me a Sprite. Which, okay, But really, how do you think I should do that instead? So, really, I should say, Awadi tostawaduli, nihina, jade tostis jaduli. Okay, I want to drink. What about you? Do you want something to drink? Okay. Awadi tostawaduli, nihina, jade tostis jaduli. Do you want something to drink? So I would do that, okay? Same thing here, Use the I form first and then ask them the question, Awa just said, Nihi Nancha just said this. I need to go to the bathroom. How about you? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Okay? And I think this is a much better strategy if your end goal is to have whoever it is that you're trying to teach Cherokee, have them to actually use it, because they can't use language that they're not being actively involved in, right? So, this word tikanega, you can use that to tie your shoes, tikanega, dejalasuno, tie your shoes, because it means to tie something up. You can also use this word to buckle your seatbelt. So I'll tell her when we get in the car, tikanega. Okay? So, but really, what I'm going to do from now on is I'll say, dejikanehi, nihi na tikanega. Or, nihi da tikanega. So, I'll say, I'm buckling my seatbelt, you buckle yours. Okay? So, you see how that works. So, I really encourage you to involve other people around you, people that you see on a regular basis. Learning language is much easier if you have other people to use it with. If you don't have speakers around, create them. Create some speakers, right? And help them, and slowly they'll understand more and more and more, and it will become, and it will improve both your learning, and you'll have somebody to actually talk with, and use language with. So that brings us to the end of our last session of Cherokee 3. I hope I've given you some information that's been very helpful for you. Hope I'm giving you vocabulary that you need that you can use on a daily basis. I just encourage you to find Cherokee language wherever you can find it. Participate, become a part of the community. You know, throw yourself in, and before you know it, you know, you'll be able to at least understand what's going on. You know, and that's the first part of the battle. And then after that, start using it. Use it as much as you can. Use it at home. You know, even if, you know, the only person you have at home to use it with is your dog. You know, if you have a cat, I think you're probably pretty much out of luck, because, you know, you can talk to a cat all day and they're not gonna, they don't care. So, but a dog, maybe, you know, you could teach your dog, you know, commands or something, you know. So anyway, so that does bring us to the end. I hope you've enjoyed the class. From all of us here at Cherokee Nation and at RSU TV, I just want to say, Wadon, Tadok Sauce Deist, and Dondago Ha'i.